Hey, I'm Cassie DeLaura, TV fanatic and ET correspondent, and I am so excited to present an in-depth look at the new Paramount Plus original series Tulsa King, starring the one and only Sylvester Stallone and brought to you by the minds behind Yellowstone and The Sopranos. We're going behind the scenes and getting up close and personal with the cast, so stick around, you don't want to miss it. Everybody, glad you could join me for a closer look at Tulsa King. Starting with the premiere on Sunday, November 13th, new episodes drop on Sundays exclusively on Paramount Plus. The series stars Sylvester Stallone as New York City mafia capo Dwight the General Manfredi. Following a 25-year stint behind bars, fresh out of prison, and expecting to be rewarded by his mob family for the time he served, instead, he's exiled to a place that couldn't be more different than the Big Apple, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Coming up, you'll meet an amazing cast of characters and see how they fit into the rich world of Tulsa King. We'll also talk about how Tulsa King complements Taylor Sheridan's growing portfolio of award-winning TV epics like 1883 and Yellowstone. Plus, the cast has plenty to say about what it's like to work with the iconic Sylvester Stallone. But first, Tulsa King is a balancing act of big city gangsters and middle America sensibilities. From mafia family politics to heartland principles, Tulsa King will draw you in, keep you on your toes, and even make you laugh. So let's go behind the scenes and see exactly what went into bringing this modern mafia western to life.
Here we go. Top speed. And action.
Tulsa King is a story about a fellow who comes out of the depths of Brooklyn. He's in the mafia, a man who was very loyal to a code.
They're a close family, and they engage in organized crime. They're the embodiment of the New York Mafia.
It's all about respect and honor and trust.
Dwight is in conflict with the choices he made as a young man that he has to stick with now.
He kept his mouth shut for 25 years. No one could believe it. Coming out, he expected to be rewarded, but now he's sent to Tulsa.
I want you to go there.
Serious?
I actually wanted to work with Sylvester Stallone for a while. This was an idea that I had, the gangster being sent from New York to Middle America to establish the mob's influence in that area. What an absurd comedy of errors that would be.
Who runs this neighborhood? Like, what crew runs it?
No crew up in here, man. You in the middle of nowhere.
It's different. It's like a Western gangster thing going on. It's exciting, it's new, and it's fresh.
When you see the sort of magic of what Taylor and Terry wanted to do with the characters, I think that's what will resonate.
Sound speeds.
Terrence is someone whose work I've admired, and I felt that he had a real keen understanding of this world and would appreciate a real fresh look at it.
Everybody responds to the mob genre, and taking that idea and those characters and placing them in a place where you'd never encounter them, it might as well be another planet.
Where do you worship?
I really don't go to church. All right. Oh my God. Welcome to rural America.
Filming Oklahoma, everything is different.
It couldn't be any more opposite of New York.
It's the epitome of country.
And it's hot as Have I mentioned that too?
The cast is not from here, so we all relate to Dwight. We've all been thrown into Oklahoma, and we're all fish out of water.
The guy has to start a new life when most people think life is over. He goes out west, and now he's building a whole new family. They're not gangsters, they're just everyday people, and that's a whole different paradigm.
So, where to, boss?
Tyson is the one who shows him around. He calls me the ambassador of Oklahoma. But I don't think Tyson knows what he's getting himself into in the beginning.
You must be Bodie.
Is this a robbery? He just kind of storms his way into my life and into my weed shop. But he also shows a bit of heart, even though it's complex.
We're partners. Now he's in business, but he needs the comfort of something besides money. Nobody wants me.
Not that bad. Dwight and Stacy have a connection. They're at a place in their lives where they're going, whoa, how did I get here and why don't I have more?
And he starts to bring together these groups of misfits.
Dwight begins his journey to kind of build his empire. So him and Mitch, they sort of become fast pals.
Do you think regular people see me as an ex-con?
Could be the fact that you're dressed like a gorilla in a suit.
The one missing piece, though, is his daughter. But there's also a lot of guys that are trying to put me away. So it covers so many subjects. It has heart, it has humor. Every actor is fantastic. It hits the entire spectrum of entertainment. There'll be moments of joyousness, there'll be moments of tears, there'll be moments of, will he go gangster on you? Yes, definitely. And that's where the fun begins.
Coming up next, meet the motley crew of characters Dwight recruits once he gets to Tulsa. Also, the cast reveals what it's like to share the screen with one of the world's biggest stars, Mr. Stallone. Stick around, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Tulsa King Inside the Series. Now, to be a mob boss, well, you need a mob. Dwight Manfredi is in recruitment mode from the moment he steps off the plane in T-Town. Any mafia man worth his weight needs his off-the-books cash flow, a loyal chauffeur, and a good place to grab a drink. In addition to Sylvester Stallone, Tulsa King has brought together an incredible cast of familiar faces, from crime series veterans to comedy stars. Say hello to Dwight and his misfit mafia.
I remember when I was 17, my father asked what I wanted to be. Would I like to be a barber like him? I laughed in his face. I wanted to be a successful gangster. The characters I play are usually very isolated and sometimes completely alone. And that's not my nature at all. Because I focused on action films, the less you say, the better. And this is just the opposite. The more he says, the more you will embrace him rather than being this stone-faced killer. This character is something that just lays it on the table. Right there, you see it. And he's also fair. That's the main thing, he's fair.
I play Pete Invernizzi, who's a mob boss on the wane. He's handing over the reins to his son, who may not be as competent as I'd like him to be. But I'm really done.
I play Chicky. He's the underboss of the New York family. He's trying to prove he's man enough. He's not the kid who Dwight saw before he did the 25 years.
Vince is the best friend of Chicky and Vernizzi. I feel like Vince is a bit more of a street character that kind of found his only real true family in the Invernizzi family.
I played Tyson on Tulsa King, and Tyson is young man coming from Oklahoma, going against everything that he was taught, everything he was raised to lead in expectations towards, and decides he wants to step and be a little something more unconventional.
I play Stacey Beal, who is from New York, also been sort of cast into the Siberia of Oklahoma, so she is also a fish out of water. She doesn't connect with a lot of people there, and so when she meets Dwight, they have a connection in both of them sort of being cast out souls and also being put in a world where they're suddenly like, wait, what is it all for and who are my people?
My character in Tulsa King is Mitch Keller, ex-convict, now trying to get his life back together, dealt with some inner demons, some inner battles. He's trying to have a clear slate.
I play Armand Teresi, who I would say grew up in a mafia family, is not a tough guy, really wasn't cut out for going up the ranks in the mob, but is very, very good with numbers. That's my gig.
A weed dealer. I don't know if it's obvious from my hoodie, but I play a weed dealer. A legal weed dealer. Well, I don't break the law. Unless you watch the show, and then you might find out otherwise. But I've never broken the law in my life. It's a pleasure to be a part of the group, you know?
So if you, like me, have already been sucked in by the gritty drama of Yellowstone, amazed by the cinematic scope of 1883, or brought to the edge of your seat by the tension of Mayor of Kingstown, then I hardly need to introduce you to the man behind them all, Taylor Sheridan. Tulsa King fits right in with Sheridan's growing universe of character-driven stories rife with relatable anti-heroes and middle American culture. Here's why this series is gonna be your next streaming obsession.
Every member of my family fights this fight, in one way or another.
Mind if we speak?
Whatever you're selling, I ain't buying.
With 1883, I looked at a forgotten part of the American experience, and I made a show for a very large, broad group.
You don't strike me as a man who travels without a plan.
I got a plan. I'm gonna keep heading north till I find man that's worth the journey.
And yet, there was still an appetite for water cooler television. There was still an appetite for the American West and examining in a way that it's never been looked at before.
With 1883, it's about a family trying to hold on to what they have. And that's really the core value at the end of the day of what this show is about. So I think it's those magical values that Taylor plays so brilliantly with in this story.
What I try to do is peek as authentically into a world as I can, even though all the circumstances may be fictitious, at least give people a sense of what it was like to live in that time.
When you're watching the stories, they're not sort of closed end. They're these big, long beginning, middle, and end over 10 hours. This is very cinematic, and that's what we do. And that will never change in anything that Taylor's doing.
What I've done with the Mayor of Kingstown is I've taken every issue in America currently and distilled them down into one town and then again compressed them into the prison system. It's a topic that hasn't been explored very much in this medium, in this depth.
I'm so familiar with what you do. But don't delude yourself into thinking any of this is for the common good.
I want to find the most riveting and talented and engaging and charismatic actors and actresses out there in existence and build a world around them. Give them intense, topical conflicts to overcome, shoot it like a movie. It's going to look like a movie, and the audience is going to react to it like a movie.
Dwight, Manfredi, I want you to go to Tulsa.
You serious? I was notified by Taylor Sheridan. He had this idea of combining basically two different cultures, the Western and the East. The mafioso and the cowboy. This is fresh, it's good writing, it's concise.
I just thought it was a rich way to examine our world and poke a little fun at ourselves. And again, an opportunity to work with someone like Stallone.
When you're playing in a genre like the mob genre, it made sense for Taylor to sort of join up forces with somebody who has done it so well. So having a partner like Terry Winter is just a perfect opportunity.
Tulsa King is a dark comedy.
I just knocked your guard out, and you think I'm a CPA?
It's got very dramatic moments, very poignant moments, but it's also got comedy born of the reality of taking a person from one place and putting them into a completely alien situation. It's really a cross-pollination of two genres. We've got the gangster genre mixed with the Western genre, and I think that was part of the genius of Taylor Sheridan's original pilot.
You know, your goal as an artist is to educate and enlighten and entertain, and you want to seek to do all three. It's an excellent opportunity to, again, look through all of these great worlds and then to continue to find the next thing we want to do.
Don't go anywhere, because the cast has plenty to say about working with Hollywood icon Sylvester Stallone. Plus, the show's creative crew tell us about setting the scene. We'll be right back. There are, of course, so many details that go into giving a new series its own distinct style, and the crew of Tulsa King thought of everything, from Dwight's sharp-tailored suits to scouting the down-home buildings and recognizable locations found in the buckle of the Bible Belt. There is so much to appreciate. Let's hear from the creatives who brought Taylor Sheridan and Terrence Winter's vision to life.
One of the things we talked a lot about early on was the idea of kind of resetting, rejuvenation. Dwight, Sylvester Stallone's character, has very much been kind of frozen in time. And so if he thinks he's going to fit in where he fit in when he left, and he finds himself very much that he's not able to.
When Dwight gets out of jail, for a lot of the first episodes, he really is just wearing those 90s suits that were his old things. But I love the staying monochromatic and have a big contrast. You know, he's going to stand out in this very kind of desert palette. Making sure the fish out of water happened. Tyson style, well, he is an Oklahoman. And also he's got such grace and such style with the mismatched prints, which is also fun because design always ends up having some little language that you have to stick to, which is very grounding to know these are Dwight kind of things, those are Tyson kind of things.
Dwight, he has to kind of reinvent himself. So the idea of kind of reinvention and repurposing and how that relates to New York and how that relates to the Midwest and those two things, how they have those similarities. New York's very dense. We try to use a darker, deeper color palette there.
For Oklahoma, we went for a warm color palette, neutrals, browns, warm umbers, that kind of stuff. And then the tricky part is
trying to find locations that are the visual representation of that. A gas station that's been repurposed as something else, whether it's a diner or in our case, we use it as a dispensary. You could kind of see the shape of the building, but it was pretty abstract because we didn't really know when we start opening things up like what it was going to lend itself to. They have a lot of glass brick that they use here in Oklahoma, which I really like. We did a really nice green automotive finish on that, so there's some of that in the windows and the wrapping around that building, and I'm really proud of that set. Approach to Bread to Buck was find a balance between a space that was large enough to work in, large enough to have depth and some scope, but also show that it was not doing as well as it possibly could, and also show, and to that point, show that it had once kind of had a heyday.
basically with the bar, it was just trying to make something feel truly believable. I really think that we got there, especially if you stand behind the back bar or if you look at the back bar and all the details. Just wanted to make it feel truly real, and it's like that, those kind of ugly pieces of realism are what brings a set to life. In Dwight's suite, we chose the Art Deco stylings of the Mayo and keeping the outside architectural detailings of the windows. We were able to make our own suite.
I opened up the lines of sight and the pathways between rooms and that sort of thing to make it more shootable and to make it a little more camera friendly.
We wanted to bring in Art Deco elements into Dwight's suite while still making it like a modern, luxurious place. Our world is so big, and it's getting bigger every episode.
It is any actor's dream to get to work alongside a larger-than-life legend like Sylvester Stallone. I mean, he is a leading man's leading man who brings his A-game to each and every take. But hey, don't take my word for it. Here's what his castmates, including Andrea Savage, Jay Will, Garrett Hedlund, and more, have to say about working with the great Mr. Stallone.
I don't know if you've ever seen Sylvester Stallone before. He's an indie movie actor. You wouldn't have expected this guy, this indie movie actor to just kind of come out of the woodwork. I mean, you probably haven't seen him.
That's how you welcome customers?
Sly's, he's an icon.
He's such a hard worker, he puts his hand in everything.
This guy brings it every single day.
He's about really experiencing it.
That's why he is who he is. That's why people love him so much.
To be able to tell the story with someone like Stallone, I'm very excited to have him aboard. And I just want to work with those people who I've admired and to take someone with that much depth and paint this palette for them and see what they can create. It's a great honor.
It's the nicest thing anyone ever said to me.
When I first read the scripts, I was like, this is going to be an incredible show for Sly.
I look forward to every day on set with him. We have a blast together on set. We're very collaborative in communication about this and that and on scenes. Him and I just have fun with this stuff. We jive.
He's very modest about what he has to bring because I think he knows it already, and that I admire. It's not anything else that comes with it. He knows it.
If on the page it's here, Sly brings it here.
It's just a dream come true. Just living the dream with Sly every day. I had his poster on my wall when I was 10 years old. He's made, he's directed, he's written so many movies, and he knows so much. Yeah, he's fantastic.
He's an amazing collaborator. So you're actually getting this entire package of somebody who can actually help you get what's on the page onto screen in the best possible version you could have intended.
Just has this presence. He just gives off this great energy. Great number one on the call sheet.
He doesn't phone it in. He's working to make sure every aspect of the show is good and ready. And I admire that. And it's like taking a master class every day when I'm on set.
It's invigorating working with him. One take he'll go this way, another take he'll go that way. And he's nimble on his feet, he really is. He just wants to play around with the scene, and that's fantastic because it keeps it alive.
I just enjoy watching the takes where he does that thing. You're like, that's why you're a movie star.
There's more to come on Tulsa King inside the series. Don't go anywhere. So if this inside look at Tulsa King has you excited to dive right in, then y'all, I have got some great news. There's so much more where this came from. Tulsa King premieres Sunday, November 13th exclusively on Paramount+, and you can stream new episodes Sundays. For more of Taylor Sheridan's creations, stream 1883 and Mayor of Kingstown on Paramount+. And keep your eyes peeled for further details about Sheridan's Paramount+ original series 1923, starring Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, coming soon. I'm Cassie DeLaura, and it has been so much fun exploring all that there is to love about Tulsa King with you. Thanks for joining me, and enjoy the show.
At 26, I took an oath. You know the one. I've been asked if what I did was worth 25 years. Now, I'm gonna see if it was.
Dwight, Manfredi, I want you to go to Tulsa.
You serious?
Need a cap? So, where to, boss?
You could earn like crazy. Do whatever you want.
I need to see your books.
Are you from the government?
I just knocked your guard out, and you think I'm a CPA?
Sit down!
I might be in charge with almost getting shot, because I don't think that's a crime, even in Oklahoma.
What's an ex-mafia capo doing in Tulsa?
When I figure that out, you'll be the second one to know.
Embrace it, amigo. You're precisely where you're supposed to be.
If you work for me, we'll be making money hand over fist. Nightclubs, discos.
A disco?
You're a sarcastic little perk, aren't you? Give me a couple years. I'm gonna own this city. If anybody asks you what I do for a living, tell them I'm an industrialist.
What does that even mean?
My point exactly.